Hello, everybody. There's layers to this. I'm Valerie, and I'm here with Creatress, and we are back for our other season, our next season, season 7. This is the first episode of season 7. So, hello, Creatress. How are you?
I'm good, and I was like about to signal four, like for season four, because I clearly don't know what time it is. Um, that's wild that this is season seven. Like, there's
Yeah.
layers to this. Season seven. Like, what? Have we been here that long? Man, remember season one?
Damn, I can barely remember season 1, to be honest. I'm like, what was our first episode? What did we do? I mean, we actually started as spaces and then
Yeah,
we evolved to live
that was
stream. So,
nice.
yeah, I don't know. It's been a fun journey, and so yeah, glad to be here starting another. We've got a lot of cool stuff in store. We're going to be continuing talking about lasagna. We're going to be talking about toads, everything that's happening in the Web3 space, and everything that we're into with AI tech, space tech, and other news. And of course, doing our best to get some awesome guests to talk about what they're working on in the space. So, if you're new here, hello, my name is Valerie, aka V Dizzle. I'm one of the hosts for There's Layers to This, and I started in the Web3 space back in May of 2021. I got my first NFT gifted to me and airdropped by Gary Vee. So, Gary Vee is a well known entrepreneur, business marketer guru, and he started a NFT project called V Friends. And so I was able to win in a giveaway, and I had offers on OpenSea at that time around $140,000. I could have probably sold it for comfortably, even probably more than that. And I didn't know there was cycles. I didn't know there was ups and downs in the Web3 space. And so I didn't sell, but it's all good because it's led me down an incredible journey to meet people who are in the community and get plugged into San Diego. I'm based here in San Diego, so I started a meetup group called San Diego NFT Friends, and our first meetup was in June of 2021, and we've been consistently having monthly meetups since then, where we offer free food, free drinks, we talk and hang out and educate, and sometimes we have speakers and panelists. And so, with that, it's also led me to Creatress and other people who are awesome in the space. And I loved doing these meetups so much. And I saw that there was a need to uplift people who are authentic and genuine and really building. So I actually started a Web3 event company called Red Rug Edutainment. And so that's what I do full time in this space. So that's a little bit about me, but I'll bring it over to Creatress for her intro.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If you're a repeat watcher or a new person catching our show, I'm Creatress, S7E1. I'm a 3D artist, but really I'm a multidisciplinary artist who focuses on 3D. And I've been in Web3 since about 2017. Got in through XRP, and investing in XRP a little bit, and then I got re-engaged in the crypto scene in 2021 with Doge, and then with the start of Clubhouse, which is where I learned about NFTs and started to believe in the power of provenance on the blockchain for art, because I am an artist, always have been. Um, and yeah, I haven't really looked back since. November 2021, during an NFT NYC week, was the first time that I ever did my live performance in person in front of an audience. And ever since then, I've continued to evolve in my performance art aspects. And so, yeah, fast forward to now, I've performed at over 35 Web3 events using a VR headset and a screen behind me and music to create a 3D sculpture live in front of audiences. And that's what I'm most known for. That's what I focus on the most as an artist. But I'm also a curator. I also am an educator. and produce this show here with Val. So it's been a long, fun journey. I'm also a collector, I gotta say. Not big time whale, but so yeah, the whole combination of what I do and what Val does really goes hand in hand, and is pretty much what we talk about on the show. We talk about art, which is, like I said, I'm an artist. We talk about Web3. My art is on a lot of blockchains. Skateboard, we do touch on skateboarding sometimes, especially when Tyler comes. Lasagna, I mean, there's lasagna right behind Val. Sometimes we eat on the show. We love food, and then vibes. I mean, yeah, all this.
Usually when you're in meetings, it's not advised to eat on camera, but on our show, we don't care. We will eat, we will drink, we would do what we want because it's our show, and that's the kind of vibes we bring. And so grab your snacks, grab some popcorn, and we've got an awesome guest today. So I'm super excited to start this season featuring a guest who Creatress and I have worked with before, and is doing amazing things in the space. And he's here to talk about his latest, I guess, project that's kind of evolved. So let's welcome to the stage Meme Brains. Let's bring
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me here.
GM.
Thanks for having me here. Episode 1, season 7. You're making waves here, making waves. It's difficult to get through season 1, never mind season 7. So you're doing great. It's really great to see this.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been, I mean, we've tried to get consistent. Our viewers know this about us. We're not always the most, like, always at 1 p.m. or always on a Tuesday. Sometimes we got to move it to a Wednesday every now and then. But we've been consistent in making sure that we run the show, keep having it. And so, yeah, it's been evolving. I feel like that's a term we're going to be using a lot today, is evolving. I feel like that's a theme here. But Meme Brains, would love for you to intro yourself. When did you get started in Web3 and what brought you here?
Yeah, I started in Web3 in what I would say is the traditional, maybe what I would call the most like genuine sort of way, is really about philosophy and politics and understanding what's going on in our world today with interest rates, with inflation, with our fiat, and on a true, you could say Bitcoin maximalism angle. That was my day one and still is my foundation. So it started by hearing about this crazy thing called Bitcoin and studying and researching for a good 3 or 4 months before doing anything, before buying anything, and then bought on the principle that that our fiat system is broken and that there's no real, like you could say, light at the end of that tunnel other than finding a different solution, finding a different path. And that path is about other people rising up and presenting new solutions that are able to be implemented in spite of other centralized sources trying to prevent them. So my first actions were to do a whole bunch of mining. I converted my garage into a mining farm and all the construction requirements to go with that. And then really that was all I really ever intended to do, was just Bitcoin, just mining. That's it. And I think just like most people do at some point, there's bright shiny objects around there. There's other people doing interesting things. So I'm like, well, what's going on? What's going on in the rest of the ecosystem? And obviously, like an enormous part of what happens in this market is really just baloney. Really, in many cases, projects that go to zero, scam coins that hit the news. Like, we're just inundated and overwhelmed with that. To the point where most people don't even realize how the ecosystem started. What's Bitcoin trying to actually accomplish is not really a question discussed in most Web3 discussions. So I really like to bring that to the forefront and let that be my foundation today as much as it was on day one. And of course, now I explore a lot of different communities, a lot of different like the concept of decentralization is really appealing to me, and that applies to even companies and corporate environments, not just currencies. So I like to explore that from a philosophical and structural perspective, and that's really where I spend a lot of my energies, with community building and how can we help build a better future.
Absolutely. Yes. Claps all around for that philosophy. Agree with you right there. Yeah, and I don't think people talk a lot about like how did this all get started? How do they even know? So I think there is still a lot of education, and like you said, there is different distractions, but it's really important. Like the longer you're here, I think you're able to sift through all of the noise and really find people who are, like I said, truly authentically here and genuine, and potentially creating or building something really awesome, which I know you have. You have the public board. You are the co-founder of the public board, and I want to get right into it because I know our time is limited with you. So yeah, I want you to share a little bit about what the public board is. I can actually pull up the website too right after you're done, like, you know, telling us how it got started and where it's at now.
Yes, thanks, and again, I really appreciate you having me on here. And if you happen to just check Twitter, you might see that I did a tweet about you right now. And what I did was I put the background banner of your Twitter bio live on a massive 48-foot by 14 digital billboard that's on the side of a big highway. And if you
Oh
zoom in
my
on it, yeah, you're live on a
God. Okay,
massive billboard right now. You got to check that.
let me share the screen. Oh my God. What the
I can't wait to see this. Oh, that's so good.
So that's a zoom in
Oh
of what
my
you're, and then
God.
that's the billboard itself. So you see where Grateful
Uh-huh.
Ape is on the right side. There's an ape there. You're just below
Yes.
that. Now it's a little bit. I'm working on upgrading the camera quality, and there's a couple things we just launched like 3.5 days ago on that. So I'll
Yeah.
fix the camera quality for now. But you're there. You can zoom in. You can see it, and we'll have a drone camera going out soon. And
Oh,
that
that's
magic, like it took me a couple minutes, and it happened in real time. And everyone that's on that board right now
Yeah.
went on just instantly live by uploading any image they want and putting it onto this massive 7,000-pound billboard at the side of a highway. And the idea is to decentralize access to it, right? Like this is one of the things that really inspired me to explore the ecosystem beyond just doing Bitcoin mining is, oh, well, like I didn't even know what decentralization was before I heard about Bitcoin. And now I'm like, well, what else can we decentralize? And I used to have a construction company a long time ago when I was a wee lad. And I built that up to like 60 people, and I was just a solo founder, and I ended up selling that company. But when I had it, I found it was really difficult to advertise on billboards. It was if I didn't have a big enough budget, or if I didn't have a huge marketing team, or if I was busy, or sometimes they were booked up for months, or it was just a pain in the butt to go emails back and forth all over the place and phone calls. So I remember that pain, and I remember that frustration. And I thought, good companies solve pain points. So when I sold the construction company, I thought, first of all, I thought it's got to be a lot easier to run a stick in the ground with a sign on it than it is to run 60 guys running construction. So that seems like interesting in itself. But also this pain point: can we solve it? Can we make it easy for people to access billboards? And all this stuff I was doing in crypto was like, well, why doesn't it's a digital billboard? It's digital. Why isn't there a mobile app? Why isn't it like two buttons? Why can't anyone access it in real time? So that's what we did.
Right.
And the promo video you're looking at there just kind of shows anyone in the world. And right now there's people from Europe and Asia and United States and Canada, and it just takes a couple clicks and you can have anything live on a billboard that you want within like 2 minutes, and it gets approved and it's moderated and people are having fun with it. It's going viral. And in a nutshell, that's like the recap of where we're at today, and that magical and that reaction you had just now. That's why I do this. You're like, oh wow, I'm on a billboard, and you looked happy, right? And that's that. As a founder, I can't ask for more, right? Like that's like maybe as an artist, the biggest thing is just to have someone like appreciate the art, or to put it on a wall, or to see it reposted. And as a founder, it's to see people use the product and just be excited. And that's more exciting than any amount of money, that could be there. So, I love that you did that. And that's the summary.
I love
Wow.
That's really cool.
I'm a bit speechless right now. I was not expecting any of that, to be honest. I'm super grateful. Speaking of where I'm under grateful right now, super grateful. That's so cool. And when I started seeing this concept, well, let's back up a little bit, because let's talk about like where me and Creatures found you, right? So I ecosystem. We Creatures and I own ApeCoin, and before I own an ape now. So we kind of started with the ApeCoin stuff, and so yeah, I don't even know if it was like you DM'd us and reached out, or if I found like I don't really, or was it through the AIP? I kind of forget that part. Do you remember, Creatures?
I've been following public board for a while because they did calls for art. So I think I found them first, and like I got my art shown at multiple places now. And I think the second time that I submitted art, I was like, we should submit too for the show. Like I submitted and they did show it, and I got photos back and it looked like it went well. So let's also like put our show on there. So I think that might have been. I don't know how you initially found them, but I just remember like I had my art shown first, and then I was like, hey, why not like our show, thing. So that's
Yeah.
And if I remember, do you remember the Sandman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been the Sandman that reached out and said, you need to talk to this. You need to have this. You need to have Creatress on your board. And I can't remember what he said, but he's a big fan of your work, and so am I. But I hadn't heard of you yet. So Sandman specifically reached out to me and he says, you know what, you need to talk to Creatress. We need to have her art on the billboard on the truck going around Denver. That has to happen. And I don't know what happened after that, but that's the first time I remember hearing of you. And so somewhere in that world, nice. Sandman Poncho Poppins deserves a little shout out.
Heck yeah. Super dope artist. I love that guy. I always appreciate anybody who thinks of me. And I just gotta say, real friends, say your names when you're not around, and make sure that you get opportunities that you deserve. So shout out to the real ones out there. And thanks for looking me up and inviting me to be part of it. I feel like it's been like 3 times now that you guys have.
It's been a ride. Yeah, it's been a ride because it started. Yeah, it started with like in 2020. I started this concept in 2020, and I think I was in Japan at the time, and I was just like thinking, what do I do? What do I do? And I'm going to do this. So I went out to California, lived out there for a bit, and I swear I went to every city hall from San Jose to Sacramento, all the way, talking to them, trying to get permits, building up a board, and lived out there for a while. And then guess what happened in February? COVID lockdown, right? So it's like, well, maybe that's not the right time to be doing an outdoor billboard advertising business. In hindsight, I actually should have stuck with it. I probably could have scooped up a couple super cheap, but at the time it didn't make sense. So paused, and I lost a bunch of money and whatever, it is what it is. But then at the beginning of last year, doing some stuff with ApeCoin, I thought, my co-founder and I looked at each other and we're like, let's try this. Let's do this and see what happens. So we decided to pick East Denver because we had won the hackathon there the year prior and built a bunch of tech that ApeCoin's using right now, and a bunch of other communities are using. And so we went there, and we had an AIP that went through at the time, just a small one, and that kind of kicked us off a bit. So that's fair to say, and we're grateful for that. And that's why we ended up in Denver. And from Denver, we went to NFC Lisbon, which Lisbon was even bigger for us. So that went super viral. And then we did a small thing at WebEx Japan, which some people participated in. As we always have games and leaderboards, so we let like the top, I don't know, I think it was the top 100 people on the leaderboard winners to have some art featured at WebEx in Japan. And then now we were like, we got to get in the real world. We got to get something that's up 24/7. That was always a challenge for us. Like we do a 2-day event, and then what? Right, we need something up permanently. So I'm talking to a lot of billboard owners, literally all across the United States and Canada right now, big boards in big cities, but they are like long discussions and slow and steady. So in the meantime, we thought, let's just buy one. Let's just buy a board somewhere, anywhere, and play with it. So we got this billboard in this little tiny city, and it's going super viral right now, and it's a lot of fun. We get to feature artists, and there's so much art up there all day long, and talking to them on the Telegram, and it feels really good.
Yeah, speaking of the Telegram, I am in that Telegram, and it's so cool to see, I mean, like the reactions of, like you said, like seeing them super excited. I mean, even before this billboard came about, like for anyone who doesn't know, meme, if you can't tell already, like Meme Brains is very, very dedicated and passionate. And I got to meet him in person, ETH Denver 2023, I think it was. And he was literally in front of the truck. There was a truck where everyone had their advertisements on, and he was following this truck, trying to catch up to it, and then would sit there and take photos with his camera, trying to get each person's submission with their art or their advertisement and send it to people. And like, oh my gosh, I was like, wow, like, he's not at the conference, he's not at the after parties, like enjoying. He's literally dedicated, standing there, just waiting for this loop to go through. And I don't even know how many like advertisements you had on there from the community, but once you showed people, you were sending it to them through DMs or through the Telegram. And like, I know when, me and Creatress saw ours, like, it's just the best feeling ever. Like, it's just, wow, it's because growing up, you see all these different advertisements, right? Like Neutrogena or, Nike. And these are all the big corporations, these big companies. You see these advertisements, and it's kind of sometimes hard to imagine something that you created, whether it's art or a fun little GIF or something, like on a billboard yourself. So I don't know. I feel like Creatress wanted to say something here.
Yes, I'd like to show and tell, if I may, show something on the jumbotron here.
Okay, let me pull it up.
Just I found this photo.
There it is. There it is.
This is ETH Denver. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, Shake Shack, the big party there. There was a lot of people going through that burger spot. That was like, that was like 2,000 people went through and got a burger in like 2 hours. It was incredible. And you were right there. You were right there the whole time.
Yeah, I sent in a video of me performing. So even though, I wasn't performing right then and there at that party, they got a glimpse of what it looks like. And then I also found this one. And this collab with,
look at the seagull, he's going. Yes.
Collab with Fiona was also shown. But in this,
where was that? Was that Venice? That almost looked like
the seagull, he's going. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's Venice. Oh, yes. Beautiful.
Yes. So this one was a collab that I thought it would be cool to share. So again, kind of like, my art was shown in Denver. Then you guys did the call for Lisbon, and I was like, well, I could submit my art, but I could also ask my friend who I collaborated with to submit our collab, like, share the love. So that's kind of like the evolution of it, right? So first I did mine, then the collab with Fiona, and then, our show with Val, and now you're here. So full circle moment. You featured our stuff, and here we are featuring your thing today. Couldn't have planned it any better.
Love seeing this go full circle like that. It's like there's a lot of people come and go in this ecosystem, right? They're here today, they're gone tomorrow. They got one project today, it's disappeared tomorrow. That's common. It's unfortunate just how common it really is. Right. But here we are, season 7, right? You're still making awesome art. We're still eating lasagna, right? We're still got billboards on the go. It's consistency, right? That's rare to see like that long-term consistency going on. So good on you guys. I like it. I love it.
Thank you. And same to you. And so that's why I was super excited, you were available to be on our show today, because you yourself, you've been around for a long time, and I didn't even know like your history even before, I've met you through the ape community. So it's just really nice to make sure that, we bond with the people that are still here and doing incredible things. And sometimes, like these things, are there's layers, right? There's layers to the internet, and sometimes things get piled on top of each other on the algorithm, and you just don't see these things. So I think it's really important to share it out to all these different, venues and that we have. So it's just awesome to have you on here. I know you're strapped for time. Do you have to get going, or do we have a few more minutes?
Yeah, I got like another 5 minutes here, easy. Maybe 10 at most. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think we should talk about the website for people who want to get involved and get get their cool art, on the billboard. So I'm going to share the website here. And I've gone through it already a little bit myself. I haven't gotten any of these squares, but these squares here, they're called blocks, right?
Yep.
So explain to us like the process. All right. The website for anyone who wants to know is publicboard.com, and this is publicboard.com/blocks. BLOKS. So yeah, why don't you walk us through, like, okay, if someone wants to get started, where do they go?
Yeah, thanks. So here's the short summary. We bought this the billboard that we own is 48 feet wide and 14 feet tall, and it stands up about 60 feet high, facing down this big highway with about 9,000 people going by it every day. We took that billboard and we divided it into 369 separate blocks, and anyone can take control of any block at any time. It looks like that live stream isn't working, but it's working on Twitter. If you look at the live stream on Twitter,
it might be even me because I'm running all the videos, so it might be taking a long time to load here. But yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So we've divided that billboard into 369 blocks. Anyone can take control of any block at any time and upload essentially any art to it. Now it is moderated, so like we make sure that it's only good content, right? There's some restrictions, but essentially you can upload anything you want. And the way it works is every block it starts for free. You can claim it for $0. Now, once you claim it, you have to also put a sale price. So the one you're clicking on now has been claimed by someone, and they put a sale price of 0.000001 ETH. So anyone can buy that for that price, which is pennies. And that means that every block is always for sale, because you can't buy one without putting it back for sale.
Okay.
Oh.
And then once you've determined your sell price, you just pay rent based on the sell price. It's a 13% per day price on whatever you chose as the sell price. So if you choose a really, really, really high sell price, it's high rent. If you choose a really, really low sell price, well, someone might steal it from you or buy it from you, I should say, but you pay a really low rent. And that's the way that we make it fair and accessible to everyone. And we allocate a certain point, 50% of all the rent we collect, we put it into a pool, and we send it to all the most active members. So you can really be a part of the building and the marketing and the growth of this whole project. It's like a reward and a thank you. So that's really start to finish how it works. We're going to expand onto other chains. Love to be on Lightning Network, and Bitcoin is a big aspiration of mine.
Wow.
And you can see the content rotates. We have a live stream camera sitting like facing it 24/7, day and night, snow, wind, whatever. And it live feeds to the world. We can take photos. We have a drone camera that comes around periodically. Anyone that puts something up, just tag me. I'll do a shout out. Right? Just let me know that it's up, and I'll do a shout out for you.
Wow. Wait. So who's controlling the drone? Like, how many people are you coordinating with to have this, like, do this whole production?
Yeah, well, there's my co-founder and his wonderful team and his wonderful family are working all together. There's three of them that are helping with the development and the technology and the UI and all that. And then so they're working together out of Chicago. I'm out in Alberta, just working by myself in a bubble in my living room. And then we got a guy on site that's helping out with all the camera work, and he just lives very close to the billboard, so he's there all the time for security and making sure the battery's working and the cables and everything like that. So that's, and then we got another friend of mine in India that's been helping a lot with the social media a little bit. So we're spread out. There's another lady that's been working with me for years doing all of our video work, and then you guys know Lore in the ape community, and Lore made our promo video. So I like to think that the business is run by a community, and the community business is running a billboard that reflects and represents the community too. So community run for community concept.
Dang, this is probably like, just to just give you some flowers here. And it's just like everything that I've kind of interacted with and seen something that's a community oriented. This is probably one of the best that I've seen, if not the best, and just how the tech worked right away. A lot of times people come out and say, oh, this is our concept and here's how it's working. And then usually you run into some technical difficulties or it gets delayed for a while. But right off the back, when you had DM'd me, hey, here's your invite code, start doing these quests, right? So that's a cool way to start earning points, right? Is doing these quests, right? Twitter posts, Telegram posts, and it worked immediately. Like I was like, whoa, okay. And it's pretty straightforward, right? With the tabs. And so okay, and you can go over here and check out the leaderboard. Oh, I'm ranked 21 right now. All right, before I didn't have a rank, so it's nice to see.
Nice.
Oh, and it looks like someone else has taken. Who's the number one spot right now? Where does
Dolores.
Oh, Dolores. I've seen her on there. So it's really cool to kind of have seen this like over the past few days, how, you know, it's getting a little crazy here where it seems like people are stealing, you know, the blocks in here and stuff and trying to reclaim their spots. So
yeah, Dolores is she's been really dominating that board. She loves vintage motorcycles, and she keeps putting up these beautiful like cyberpunk style synthwave, you know, feel vintage vans and vintage motorcycles. And you know, a couple times people are stealing her blocks and taking them from her, which is interesting because every time someone does that, she gets paid. Right, whatever she put as the sale price, she's getting paid every single time people do that. Right, they're buying it from her. It's just like buying and selling an NFT on a marketplace. It's very, very similar. It's all a smart contract built, and so anyway, people keep buying her tiles and putting, and then she's like, no, I'm not letting this. So she goes and buys them back or buys other ones, and it's a crazy competition going on, and she's winning.
Heck yeah,
Dolores.
Okay. Well, no, this is awesome. I don't know if there's any last words you want to hear or anything else you want to share, but yeah, definitely want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, thanks. You know, I'm happy to be here and appreciate it, and happy to support you too. You know, get you up on the board and shout out. And if you got other stuff you want to put up there, let me know. Or and you know, just want to be here and keeps helping the community and spreading the good word and spreading the good art. So, you know, reach out anytime. If there's anything I can help with, you know, I'm always here.
Thank you. Yeah, of course. Likewise, we'll keep talking about it. We'll keep up to date. We'll probably look back at the live stream and see, you know, where everyone's at, and maybe you might see there's layers to this on there. So
right on. Well, thanks again for having me out, and congratulations again on season 7, episode 1. If I had an air horn, like dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, we need to work on that. We need to work on some sound effects.
More sound effects. Yeah, but, thank you though.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you as our first guest of the season, and yeah, we look forward to seeing how this continues to evolve. And you don't know how long you're going to have this up for, right?
We don't know. We could do it a couple days because, like, you know, a billboard in the real world makes money, right? And sells ads, and it has operations costs. And I get asked all the time by local businesses in the city to buy advertising on there. And so I might end up doing a blend where it might be some local advertisers, and then we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm still kind of figuring out the financial model. Like, we need to, if it generates good money and it self-sustains, then we can set these billboards up all across the country. We can set up 100 of them anywhere, and anyone anywhere can have access in their own city. So that's what we're aiming towards. And but they have to make money, right? So it sucks, but you know what? At some point, it comes down. There has to be a viable model, and there are operating expenses. So we're working on it. We're hopeful that we get to continue this experiment indefinitely and never have to turn it off.
Well, if there's any guy that can get the job done and figure out the model, I believe it's you, Mean Brains.
Well, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. I think now I'm going to go have some lasagna and get myself back online.
All right. Enjoy your lasagna. Post up a picture if you have one.
Thanks. Thanks again. Have a good one.
All right. Yeah. Wow. How cool. That was so awesome. Bro, seeing my face up there, I was like, what? That was
awesome. That was a good surprise.
That was unexpected. I was like, it felt like my birthday. You know how like when you wake up and it's your birthday? That was a similar feeling. I was like, wow.
That's hilarious.
I felt really special. Oh my goodness. But yeah, guys, so that was Mean Brains. Oh, Binks commented here saying, this is awesome. Can videos be uploaded or just JPEG? So right now it's just JPEG and PNG. But yeah, like maybe we should ask him like in the future if we can do some videos, because I did think about that, like putting up a GIF or something would be really cool too. So thanks, Binks, for
That
tuning
would be
in.
cool.
Yes.
Yeah, hi Binks. Shout out to Third Planet Studio.
So yeah, so that was our guest, Mean Brains. Make sure you go shoot him a follow and the board, the public board on Twitter, and go check it out. The website is live, and anyone can go and put up their arts or their advertisements. She said, "Love you guys. This is genius."
Well, it's not our thing. We're just sharing it. But thank you. Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're pretty freaking cool. And like I said, they have shown my art multiple times now. So in Denver last year, in Lisbon, and I feel like somewhere. Well, now possibly. That's what I was going to ask him. That I forgot to ask was where this billboard was. He said it was in a small city, but we'll ask in the DMs.
I forget, but I think it's on the website too. Like I think under frequent. Oh, here, let me look it up right now. I think it's under frequently asked questions.
Okay.
Let's see Let's see what happens. No, where is this? I feel like somewhere like in North Dakota or something. One of those states here in the U.S. Something like that.
Nice. Okay, one of those states. Anyway,
one of the states.
we got some fun stuff to talk about. That's some other fun stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do. So, I actually wanted, since we were talking about lasagna, guys. Does anybody? Oh, before I move on to that, let's read what Binks is saying. Binks says, "So badass. I joke all the time. We need a mobile billboard for 3PS. For now, we have AR advertisement. Ha ha ha." So yeah, Third Planet Studios, 3PS for anyone who doesn't know. But for now, they have AR advertisement, which is also a cool other medium to do advertisement on. So, man, this tech. But before all this, we used to have plain old newspapers for advertisements. Remember those? Remember newspapers?
Oh yeah. I like a good newspaper too. But yeah, see guys, so for anyone watching this who's like, I want to get my product in front of people and I want to tell people my cool project that I've been working on, like people sometimes do watch and actually are impressed by what you share or by what we share on the show. So, just put that out there.
There's opportunities to be promoted here. If anybody wants to sponsor this show or wants to be a guest on the show, get us while you can, is all I'm saying.
Get in touch. You know where to find us. You know where to find us if you're watching this.
Yes.
Okay, so usually on the show, we have a little bit of like a couple different segments, right? So the segment we just had was like our first guest of the season segment. I guess there's a guest segment not on every show, so don't get used to it, okay? Because a lot of times Val and I have a lot to talk about, and there's just no time for a show, a show guest. Anyway, so you guys got lucky this time, right off the bat. We got a guest.
Started off
the other thing I was going to share was, isn't there? I feel like we might have some sort of like referral code that we can share. For anyone who wants to get involved with this. Like I think like everybody has a referral code. I think
we do. Yes, because I don't know, and so see, these are more questions. We just didn't have enough time with Mean Brains. I know he was limited with his time, but
we might. So get in touch if you want to, get a code or something. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw that on there somewhere. So yes. I feel like we could hook it up.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we have some codes. So if you're interested, reach out to us and we'll be sure to send you a code to access the website and start playing around with the billboard for sure. But
that was a side note. That was a side note about the code. I meant to introduce our next segment really, which is usually space. But today it's something else.
Well, yeah, I was going to get to that because I was saying, because I got distracted by Binks's comments over here. She's being super supportive. Appreciate that. But I was going to say, Mean Brains was talking about lasagna. Of course, if you're new to our show is based off of, Cryptoads, which is Lorenzo, our little pixelated toad there. he has a trait called tabby. And if you know about cats, there are tabby cats. And there's a very well-known famous cartoon called
Garfield.
Garfield. I was like, oh, did you forget? Garfield.
That was on
Garfield
mute. That was
is
on
a
mute.
tabby cat. And we kind of showed him. You'll see Garfield in the intro of our show. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
There he is.
He looks to Lorenzo. They're both orange and they both have like black stripes on them. And so, anyways, Garfield's favorite food is lasagna. And so that was just a cool way for us to come up with our show. There's layers to this because lasagna has layers. And so we know blockchain has layers. Us as humans have layers. Just everything around us there's layers to it, you know? So,
It really is.
So there you go. Bink says she's
Onions.
cooking while listening to us. Ooh, I hope it's
Oh, that's
lasagna.
amazing.
Hope you're cooking lasagna.
It is Italian. It could be lasagna.
Ooh, okay, all right. Hopefully,
That's awesome.
but yes. Speaking of lasagna, guys, if you watched our season finale last Tuesday, we had on Lil Eternal Rhythms ensemble with Creatress, Clayjean, Adabody, Maximilian Dinichi. And then we also had guests with Isabel made a showing, Tyler made a showing, Keegan made it. It was a crazy finale. If you didn't see it, go back. It's pinned on my profile right now. But if you watch that episode, I mentioned about a website called Love Lasagna. Do you remember that, Creatress?
It's hard to forget. Yes. Yes. I can't wait for you to share what you're gonna share. But I'm also like, I'm about to put the website right here in the comments on Twitter so that people can reference if needed. If they're hungry.
Yes. Yeah, actually thank you for that because I also have a banner here. So lasagnalove.org is the website. So you can see here, if you're reading the banner, it says to request free lasagna to your doorstep, okay, right to your doorstep, check out lasagnalove.org. Okay, this was a website I shared on our last episode, our season finale. And basically I found out about this website. I actually don't know how. I think I might have been just scrolling through Twitter Instagram. And sometimes I think my phone picks up the things we talk about all the time. And I'm always talking about lasagna. So an advertisement for this website must have come up on my Instagram. And I was like, what is Lasagna Love? And I love sharing anything lasagna related because me, Tyler, and Creatress, we have an Instagram group chat. So sometimes I'll send, oh, look at what I found, this local, lasagna meetup. I don't know, some random stuff. Sometimes I'll send things. Anyways, I found this website. I looked through it, and apparently you can request a lasagna for yourself or for a loved one, all for free. And so in your local city, you can go check it out. There might be some volunteers who on their own time take the time to reach out to you, right? You're going to share your details. So as long as you're sharing your phone number, your address, or where you want this lasagna delivered to, as long as you're comfortable with that, they will reach out to you. And it took maybe about like a month and a half because there is a backlog of people requesting lasagnas. But you can go and give a description of who you want the lasagna sent to and why. And so I actually requested a lasagna for Keegan, who is my partner, also in the Web3 space. And he has been working really hard. For those of you who don't know, he's been a teacher for over 10 years. He works for the San Diego Unified School District. And it was actually just spring break this past week. He just got back from spring break. Usually teachers take spring break off along with their students. This week, he did not. He worked all through the week just to make some extra cash so we can have some fun this summer and pay off bills. And so he's been working really, really hard. And I thought it would be really cool to request a lasagna for him. And so I requested this back in like early February or maybe late January. Well, guess what, guys? I finally got a response and we got lasagna delivered to us. So let me share some pictures here.
It came in
Okay.
already.
Yeah, so here is the lasagna.
Wow.
And I pictured with the lasagna. So we got paired up with also a fellow teacher, by the way. I think that was just a happy coincidence. Her name is Spencer, and Spencer is in the Sweetwater area, which is also in San Diego area. And yeah, she drove. We coordinated. She texted us. And so she texted me like maybe a week prior, and she's like, hey, I have these 3 different lasagnas that I can make. Do you have any food allergies? And we're like, no. And so we chose a chicken pesto lasagna. And so that's why it's more whitish, you know. Normally lasagna has that red sauce and all the meats. So this one was a little different with chicken and spinach pesto lasagna. And it was so freaking good. I don't know if the picture does it justice. Maybe it kind of does. You can kind of see how big that is. And it took us a few days to get through just with him and I. So we don't have and any other family members that live with us. So we had to get through this lasagna. It took us like maybe 4 or 5 days. But it was so nice. And so yeah, our volunteer was Spencer. And since she was a teacher, she said, oh yeah, it's spring break for me right now. So I figured during my spring break, I will go and send lasagnas once a day during her spring break. And I was like, wow, these teachers, man, we need to teachers are so underappreciated. They're not appreciated enough. And I was just so surprised that she was kind of working and volunteering during her break. So super, super sweet. Shout out to Lasagna Loves. Shout out to Spencer, who sent us our lasagna. So go check it out. There is a bit of a backlog, I hear, but it's all dependent on your city. So go check them out. But speaking of also San Diego, also wanted to share, if you noticed, I'm wearing my jacket here. So let's see here. So this is San Diego's soccer club. This is their logo. And so I don't know if I've shared it too much on our show, but I've definitely shared it out to Creatress and some of our friends. But San Diego has a new professional soccer team here, officially part of MLS. And so their first game was at the end of February in LA against LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy was the one who won the MLS championship last year, and we beat them, and it's been a pretty much winning streak since then. And we had just played Seattle this weekend, and me and Keegan got season tickets. And so with that, we actually got to sit on the field. I got to see all the players. For people who follow boxing, Ryan Garcia was there taking pictures with the fans. But also, we got some Web3 people coming up too here. So this is Chile. For anyone who is in Cardano, go check out DRMZ. DRMZ is a pool staking for Cardano. So they've got some ties. Web3 is showing up here at the soccer here in San Diego, but we all met up at the bar, and these are some friends we met up with and had a good time. And you could see here, San Diego beat Seattle 3-0. So we are placed number 2 overall. And so just wanted to share that because I think I'm going to share about it more. I can share about it more on our next episode, more in depth about how cool the soccer team is, because when we talk about community here in Web3, we all know that's really important. You can have the greatest product or the greatest, project, but without your community, you're not going to go anywhere. And so San Diego, since they're new, it really reminds me of Web3 and how they're really trying to plug into the local community here and build up from the ground up. Literally, the locals and people who live here are their foundation. And so yeah, I'll share more about that, but just wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek on stuff that is happening outside of Web3, but kind of related. There's some overlapping themes here. So yeah, just wanted to share that. So I'll stop there. And yeah, I don't know, Creatress, if you want to comment on anything, but if not, then would love for you to share some of your news.
Yeah, no, it looks fun. I think that's good that you guys are communicating and connecting with other Web3 people in like a different environment, you know, like a sporting event, which usually we only see each other at Web3 events. So I think that's cool. What else? Lasagna. Looks like she gave you a lot of lasagna, which is very generous. And I was reading on the website that like the ingredients and all the prep stuff when it comes to lasagna is paid for by the volunteers. So it's like, what? Yeah. So shout out to the teachers. That's really freaking cool.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention before she was a teacher, because I asked her, I was like, oh, what do you do? You know, how do you have time for this? And she's like, well, I'm on spring break right now. I'm a high school history teacher. And I was like, already blown away. I was like, what? Like you're doing this awesome, like community volunteer stuff. Wow. Just wow. You know? And then she's like, but before I was a teacher, I was actually a culinary chef. And I was like, oh, stop. I couldn't have been paired with the best person other than her, you know, like just, oh my God. So you could tell the ingredients. She's like, everything is handmade, the sauce and everything other than the pasta itself. She didn't make it, but it was store bought. Either way though, the ingredients you could tell just super fresh, just, oh, so good.
Yeah, I definitely, yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. I wish I could have tried that lasagna, but you know, I don't eat chicken, so yeah, my loss. It's all good. One day
you can add your dietary restrictions or if you have any allergies. So that's pretty cool.
One day, maybe I'll request one for my mom because I'm not going to be around much longer here, so can't really request.
Wait, you're going to be here around much longer on this earth. Just not
here in this location of San Diego.
I just want to clarify that for anyone. What do you mean? This
no. I meant just in this very location. But if anyone wants to send me some lasagna like tonight, you know, that'd be cool. anyway, or tacos because it is Tuesday. But okay, let's see. I had two things to share. One we'll talk about is more non-Web3, so we'll stick with the non-Web3 for now. Okay, so I've been spending a lot of time by myself this week, and I like to watch shows while I'm working on my laptop. I happen to have a nice big screen in front of me, a nice big TV across from me, and so I always have it on, and then I have my laptop here, right? So a couple shows that I watched. So this is the TV segment of today's show. Here
what TV shows are you currently watching? We want to know. and on which platform? We've got Hulu, we've got Netflix, we've got Paramount, like Disney Plus. We
got it all. Let's assume we have it all. So
we have the bundle package. Okay, all right. We're making money in crypto apparently. All right.
I was agreeing with you. I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay, you have the bundle package here. All right.
No. But I do have a couple things that I can watch things on right now. But anyway, okay. So here's the shows that I've been watching this week. This week that I discovered season 3 of The Wheel of Time.
Okay.
Is now available to watch and that one's on Amazon Prime. And so I binge watched that season 3 of The Wheel of Time, and it was actually really good. And that one,
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what? Well, yeah, because I was like, I haven't heard of The Wheel of Time before. So, yeah, what's it about? And any main actors people might know?
Oh, okay. I don't know any of the actors' names from The Wheel of Time. But here, let me share my screen, and I'll share a little bit of what's on Twitter right now about the Wheel of. We'll see what Twitter gives us, okay? But I'll explain what it is either way.
Bing says
Okay,
get a veggie lasagna, by the way.
Oh yeah, if I order lasagna, it would be a veggie lasagna for sure. Okay, so the Wheel of Time is more of like a fantasy type show.
Mhm.
Oh, where'd it go? What just happened? Nope, top. Sorry. Okay, so it's like this. Like, here's a scene from so it includes like
Powers,
magic
Uh-huh.
and witches
Okay.
and spells, wizards. There's ogres. This is one of the main characters,
Oh,
Moraine.
yes.
You've probably seen her. She was on a lot of shows and movies.
Yeah.
Actually. She was
Love
in
her.
Pride and Prejudice, actually.
Mhm. Cool.
Here's like a like thing about that. Hang on, let me see if I can.
So, did you start off with season 3, or you've watched season 1 and 2 before?
No, I've seen them all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I started from season 1, and I highly recommend season 1, all the seasons, to anyone who's into this sort of show. It's it reminds me of kind of like Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones, more on the lines of Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
or Harry Potter mixed together. There's werewolves, there's there's a bunch of different types of people, like mythical creatures.
This might be my jam because I loved The Witcher. Did you ever watch The Witcher? This is giving me a little bit of Witcher vibes.
There's Witcher vibes, yes. There's Witcher, and I really liked The Witcher as well. And I think I watched all of it. It was a little dark, but this I think is pretty much on the same level. Maybe not quite as like
Dark.
constant dark, but kind of actually in a way.
Okay.
A lot of like okay, the whole concept is like about the wheel of time and how the wheel is always turning, which is something that I've explored in my art as well. And so I think that's one of the things that really like kind of stuck with me about it. And then I don't know if you remember, but I just had my my collab is called Eternal Rhythms, which like kind of
was the time like birth and death, right? Yes.
Cycles of and this show is kind of like very much about that, and how we all like are a part of the wheel, and we're like there's a pattern that that they reference, the pattern and how we are weaving the pattern. And so we're all like interconnected, and like different things in our lives like are interconnected with other people's lives, and like we're all basically co-creating this like ultimate like plan or vision, or you know what I'm saying, like so I really like the underlying concepts of that. And then there's like the different kind of like different religions in a way. Like there's like the way of the leaf, which some people follow, and like the people that follow that like don't believe in violence at all, right? So even if like someone's coming at them and like they're gonna die, like that's part of the pattern. Yeah, which is a really interesting thing compared to like other people's beliefs, even in the show. And so then
that's such a reflection of like I feel like what happens in our times too, because like there's been a lot of protests lately too, for anyone who's following, like hands off and stuff like that. Like there are people out, in the real world who protest and have nonviolent protests, right? And so those are people who have like their beliefs and foundations, and like, vocalizing what you believe in without violence. So I think, I love hearing how these shows work, because at any time, there's always going to be a producer, a director, the artist, or whoever, they always, it's always a projection of is going through, in some way. Okay, cool. I like it.
I really hope you watch it and let me know what you think. And there's so many things I can like get into, but this show was based on a book as well, so that's on a series of books. So that's something else to consider. Then so there's like, oh my God, there's so much to it. And like living again, like a reincarnation is a thing. And then like, oh my God, there's layers to this one. And so I think
it seems like it. I mean, yeah, with the powers, I'm sure everybody has their own different powers, their own different maybe kingdoms, I would say. Maybe it looks like yeah, and their own different clans they're a part of. And I'm sure, I mean, you also said like Game of Thrones, and is there some backstabbing here? Like, oh, people say I'm with you, we're best friends, but then they're going and actually scheming over here, and they don't mean so well.
oh yeah, for
What about
sure.
romance? Do we have romance?
There's definitely romance, and oh my God, there was like a moment of heartbreak in this one. Oh my God, I can't. It's all the themes that you get in Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings, although Lord of the Rings is not so heavy on the romance, but like this, it's definitely there. And it's like, yeah. And then there's people like, falling in love with people that are like from like on the dark side. And it's just like, and
like
then
the Romeo and Juliet, like they're not supposed to be together, but they want to be together.
Right. Even though they kind of like belong to different like
families or clans.
Yeah. Anyway, just real quick, I want you to hear this part because they never really do music and no one really ever sings, except in this episode they did. And so and I just saw a meme about it. So it seems like a lot of people like this. let me see if you can, let me know if you can hear this.
All right, something going on there.
Tell me if you can hear it. Hang on.
Yes.
I'll tell you a tale of a lad of 20. A terror-born boy with coin aplenty.
Got a lot of crypto.
Looking for love and more's a pity. Now he's lost in the hills of Tanchi City. One's not enough and three's too many. And two bring a man to his steez. Hey! Hills of Tanchico. The hills of Tanchico.
All right, that's enough of that. I think what people really liked was that like shimmy. But anyway, it was just a fun like scene in the show, which is usually just like action, or like plotting, It's kind of like when people would sing on Game of Thrones, it wasn't often. It's like, oh look, it's nice. Things are nice for a little bit. So anyway, okay, so there's that. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was White Lotus. So have you seen White Lotus, Val, at all?
Start watching it because everybody, like Keegan's mom has like, you got to watch White Lotus. So we haven't, because we're trying to finish this one show, The Resident. Is it called The Resident? It's on Netflix. So we have 2 more episodes to go for that show. So like we try not to start new shows without finishing the one we're on now. So we haven't yet, but we are.
Okay. Well, I think you should definitely check it out. I've been watching it since season 1, and for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm totally into shows. Okay, anytime I'm like by myself, I have a show on, and so in addition to whatever I'm working on, right? So
we're
anyway,
layers of Creatress right now. Most of you know her as the artist, the creative. But this is a lot probably where things are going on in her mind right now. Like, when she's watching her shows, it sounds like. So, yeah. All right. So let's peel off this layer of Creatress and let's hear which show she's into. We know the Wheel of Time, and now we've got White Lotus here.
Oh my God. Yeah. So White Lotus. Oh my God. Yeah. So the show is really about people on vacation, all right, just in general. But then it's like a lot of the people are like really wealthy to a fault. And I think the show kind of shows like the dark side of wealth on some, not everybody is like, right. But like some of the characters, especially like the main ones, all seem to have some sort of like, bad luck when it comes to it. So
More
yeah,
money, more problems.
yeah, I guess yes, that's the theme. And so, but it was just so entertaining to be honest. And Jennifer Coolidge is one of the characters in it. Not this season,
Okay.
but in season 1 and season 2, she's in it. And yeah, it was really interesting. It has this lady Parker Rosie, I guess.
Okay.
She's a reoccurring character. Well, at least she was in it this
Is
season.
that it, Tim?
Mhm.
Have you ever
Cool.
heard
Oh,
of
yeah.
wine?
I love her. I haven't seen her
There's
in
several
something for a
bottles of
while.
wine in the cabinet right behind.
Cool.
Oh, she's super. She's kind of like she's like the Karen in this season in the show.
She's such
And yeah, it was just interesting. It was interesting. Yeah, I've been like waiting to watch it, and I've been like trying not to see the spoilers, but yeah, there were some themes in this one that were pretty strong, and yeah, I don't know if you're gonna watch it, Val. So I'm
yeah,
hesitant.
no spoilers. No spoilers here. I don't know if anyone who's watching our show, you know.
Right. Okay, the last thing I'll say is that it's just it's entertaining, you know. It's at very least entertaining, and it is pretty surprising all the different things that happen. And I couldn't have really predicted it, to be honest, but yeah, there's also the theme in this one was like where the dad was like struggling with like, oh, could we potentially like lose all this wealth that we have? And he kind of goes to each one of his family members and asks them like, do you think you could live like without like wealth, without this material wealth that we have now, right? And like just hearing what each one said to him and like the considerations he was making depending on their answers was really interesting. So that's all I will say. But yeah, it's a cool show. It's a cool show, and I'm glad I watched it. And I'm looking for the next show that I'm gonna watch. So please give me something to work with. The other thing that I wanted to share is well, that concludes the TV segment. Unless Val wants to share anything else about this.
As far as the TV segment, no, I don't have anything else to add other than I'm definitely going to check out the Wheel of Time. But now I have the White Lotus, so I'm like, which one should I watch first? Because like I said, me and Keegan are watching, I think it's called The Resident, which is more of like a murder mystery comedy. It's with this actress, I forget her name, but she was in Orange is the New Black. She was one of the prison mates. But yeah, we're trying to figure out who got murdered, or who was the murderer of one of these main characters, and it involves like the president and blah blah blah. So they're in the White House, and there was a murder that happened in the White House, and it's really interesting. I guess what I will say about the show is that it's really interesting because for anyone who knows like the different rooms in the White House, the show did such a really, really great job on like the red room and this room and the ballroom, like historically accurate of the architecture and the way that White House is set up. So it's kind of cool to kind of see the blend of like, okay, the White House is a real thing, but all these characters in the show are made up. But the roles, the positions and titles that these characters do have are a real thing in our in the White House like hierarchy, you know, like the butlers, like what kind of butlers and servers they have, the secret agent. There's all these different titles and stuff. But yeah, there's a murder that happens, and so there's you know, this Sherlock Holmes-esque female who is the main character pretty much, and she's trying to find clues, and the way she goes about it is a little interesting, a little different. You know, everyone's trying, the FBI, like they're trying to tell her like, shouldn't you be looking in this direction? She's like, well, no, I'm going to go and do it this way, my way, you know? And so there's always all these people, all these men telling her how to run her own, you know, detective, you know, operation here. And she has her own way. And, you know, she ends up finding more clues than the FBI ends up finding out. So anyways, that's where
What's the name one more time? And what
the
network?
Residents? Or the Residents. Sorry, yeah, the Residents. So this is season 1. So I don't know if they'll have a season 2. I'm assuming they might, but yeah, I have 2 more episodes to go.
On what network?
Netflix.
On Netflix. Okay, cool. The Residents. Okay, so far it's worth the watch, you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of
okay.
funny.
Did you watch House of Cards? Because that was also about like.
I tried to get into it and I just couldn't for some reason. Like, I don't know why. I know a lot of people love House of Cards, but yeah, I personally, for whatever reason, couldn't get into it. So yeah, I found it really interesting that I liked this show, The Residents, because for anyone who doesn't know and wants to uncover a layer of myself, I love watching all shows and movies horror. Love horror. I kind of refuse to watch comedy, romance, or anything else fantasy. I normally don't watch those types of shows. I don't know, because I lose interest really quickly. Like horror films and shows keep me on my toes. I love being surprised and scared. I love jump scares. I love the adrenaline. Like that. I love feeling like that.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's it.
This was a scene in White Lotus.
Okay. I was like, yeah, like that. That's how I love feeling when I watch my shows and my movies.
That's too good.
That's a layer of me. But interestingly enough, The Residents has caught my attention, and it's just been a fun show to watch with Keegan whenever we're having like dinner or something. So yeah.
Well, I have I love it. I might try to watch it one of these days when I don't want to like pick, you know, and I have to like make a decision. I'll be like, oh yeah. Because there is Netflix here, so that's easy. Yeah, no. I could go on and on about shows and movies, and there's a couple others that I watched this week, but I'm not gonna get into it.
Okay, yeah. What do you want to get into next? Because I do want to share some other non-Web3 related, but science news. So I don't know if there's something else you want to share before that, but yeah, what do you have?
I just wanted to share about a nouns related thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it is a Web3 thing.
Okay. How about I share the science news and then we end with Web3 stuff?
Yes, let's do the science segment.
All right, so that concludes our shows. What shows are we watching now? So go check out The White Lotus, The Wheel of Time, and The Residents. Residents is on Netflix. Wheel of Time is where?
Prime, Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, and then The White Lotus is on HBO Max, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Okay, guys. So I don't know if anyone loves following like science news, like what's happening. I love looking, like, I don't know if I shared this on one of our episodes last season, but like I love following stuff that's like archaeology, or you know what's happening with like our environment, you know, our ozone layer. And so last news I saw was that they had drilled into the ice, and like these students had extracted the oldest ice. Did I share that on one of our episodes?
I don't know if you shared it, but I have seen about that, and then that they found like frozen things in the ice. And I want to just say that this is the exact plot of a book that I read about 15 years ago, written by Dan Brown. the
Oh,
guy
I
who
love
also
Dan
wrote Angels and
Brown.
Demons and the Da Vinci Code. And he
Yes.
literally wrote a book about like people out in like the ice caps and like
Yeah.
drilling and finding something, and then like anyway, please go on.
Well, anyways, I'm not. That's not my story, my news that I wanted to share. But that was just me bringing up an example of like that's kind of the stuff I love watching. And by the way, the drilling of the ice, it hasn't landed to the lab yet. So this is now the oldest ice they've drilled to, and they believe there's actually, I forget how many oceans we have on our planet. You know, the big oceans, but they potentially might have think we have another ocean underneath underneath the layers of the earth. I don't know. Anyways, separate news. Anyways, point is there. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but they have brought back an animal that was extinct. They brought it back, the very first one. So here's a little clip I got from a CNN article. It says a species of wolf that died out some 12,500 years ago lives again as the world's first successfully de-extincted animal, according to Dallas-based biotech company Colossal Biosciences. Colossal scientists have created 3 dire wolf pups. Okay, so dire wolf was this wolf that existed over 12.5 thousand years ago. And by using ancient DNA, cloning, and gene editing technology to alter the gene of a gray wolf, the prehistoric dire wolf's closest living relative, the company announced Monday. So this was announced yesterday. Today's Tuesday. So this was literally announced yesterday. What's that?
This is hot
Yes,
news.
hot news, breaking news. The result is essentially a hybrid species similar in appearance to extinct forerunner. The dire wolf, I know Cyandirus. I don't know. It's their scientific name, which was the inspiration for the fearsome canine featured in the HBO TV series Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. We're talking about TV shows. We love Game of Thrones.
There's layers to this.
Was the top predator that once roamed North America. HBO shares parent company Warner Brothers Discovery was okay. All right. They needed to include that. All right. Dire wolves were larger in size than gray wolves and had a slightly wider head, light, thick fur, and strong jaws. So the company said. So this is an image of one of the wolves here. So this was featured on Time Magazine. So this is Remus. That's his name, Remus. He's a dire wolf. And it's the first to exist in over 10,000 years. Endangered species could be changed forever. So I read the scientific research on this. And so they were born actually back in October of last year. And I believe they had taken the gray wolf and they had, I guess it's a little bit more and less invasive than typical cloning. Typical cloning is usually when they take a tissue and a tissue sample, and then they alter the genetics in there and try to clone, the animal. But in this case, they took the blood. It doesn't say in this article, but this was something I was reading in the research paper, is that they actually withdrew blood from the gray wolf, and they were able to isolate one of these types of blood tissues or cells. And then from that, they compared the gray wolf genome to the genome of the extinct dire wolf. And the way they were able to get the genome in general from the dire wolf was they had a ear bone that they had found, and then they also had it was an ear bone and a tooth. So they were able to look at through the DNA sequence, compare it to the gray wolf. And from there, they basically altered the genetics of the gray wolf to be the exact of the dire wolf. And so they actually used domesticated dogs, I think it was. I don't even think it was wolves. It might have been domesticated dogs to use as the surrogate mothers. And basically, they did a cesarean.
Whoa.
What's that?
I'm just mind blown right now.
Yeah, so then they did a C-section. It was all planned. They didn't want her to give birth normally, because these pups were going to be larger than normal, and they didn't want any, birthing complications. So they actually did a C-section, and they first basically brought back these 2 dire wolves, and it was successful. And so they used 2 different dogs to be the mother surrogate, and they implanted, I think, like maybe 49 embryos in each, and one of them took each. And so, yeah, Remus is one of them. And there's also a female who's also been born but has not been revealed yet. She's a few months old, and her name is Khaleesi. Khaleesi. So for anyone who knows Game of Thrones, Khaleesi is like pretty much one of the main characters here. So, mother of dragons. So yeah. And this is Remus, and I believe he is 5 months old. And some of the things that they're noticing already is that, like, the way they react to humans. So normally dogs, obviously, they see you, they get really happy, they want to come up to you. And sometimes even wolves will have these like affectionate tendencies towards humans, especially when they're growing up, in a sanctuary or where they're around a lot of people since they were born. Well, these pups, these wolves, these dire wolves don't. They really keep to themselves. They can be a little timid with humans. So they're already starting to know that difference in them. And but yeah, they will grow up all their lives in there, and I believe they live on a 2,000-acre property, so they have some room. But of course there is some controversy around here. Is like, wow, well, we're bringing back these extinct animals. Could that be good, or could that be bad for us? And so their argument is that this could potentially save animals that we currently have on this planet, and basically keep up their population. So one of the animals that we currently have existing on our planet that is in danger of extinction is the red wolf. And so they're hoping to learn some research through this experiment here to hopefully save the red wolf. They have also brought back another extinct animal here, which is one of the mice you can see here. This is called a woolly mouse. And so this is just a generic mouse here, just comparing the two. But yeah, so they kind of done it already with a couple of different species. And now they're trying to bring back the woolly mammoth, and they have already incubated the eggs. They're getting prepared to, have a surrogate mother, which I assume will be an elephant. And this should happen by the end of 2026 when she gets impregnated. And then by, I think, 2028, because I believe a woolly mammoth's time to develop as a baby takes 22 months. So we may have a woolly mammoth born by 2028 is their timeline, their deadline right now. So,
wow.
Crazy. How crazy is that? What do you think? What do you think, Rachel?
Just Jurassic Park is happening, y'all. Everybody just batten down your hatches. I think it's cool. It's also, I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I have mixed feelings when we start thinking about like the implications on like our current ecosystem, and like I'm cool with more things coming back and all that, but it's like we've already lost so many animals that, like, I don't know, if you think about an ecosystem, like every single animal is like an essential part of it. And we've already lost, like, I don't know how much of a percentage. Say we lost 20%. Then we start picking and choosing to bring some back. Like, how is that going to affect the ones that are barely surviving now?
Sure.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not in charge of this. They're going to do it regardless, but it does make me wonder how it'll affect. But
yeah, there was actually one of the scientists who's against this. He said like there was a thing where they brought back like some frogs, and I forget where in the where this was happening, but they had brought back some frogs to help control like an insect or something. But because they brought back these frogs ended up being poisonous to a certain type of bird that would eat frogs. And so then now these birds could almost potentially go extinct because they're eating these toxic frogs that they brought back. So I think there's always like a consequence of bringing back these extinct animals, and you don't know what other species you could be potentially harming there. So yeah,
exactly what I'm talking about. The perfect example.
I think the frogs were supposed to control the mosquitoes because mosquitoes carry diseases like malaria. Yeah. So that's why they brought back the frogs. But then the frogs are harming these birds that eat the frogs.
That makes total sense. And I know something similar that happened in Hawaii where there were a lot of rats that came on boats that were overtaking. And so they're like, well, what should we do? Oh, let's get some mongoose to kill the rats.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, or was it not the mongoose? It was the cats. It was cats.
Okay. Yeah, cats.
But there's something with like their schedules are not the same. So it didn't work out. Now there's like too many cats.
I did see that when me and Keegan visited Hawaii. There's a lot of feral cats on the island.
And then now the cats are killing the birds. So there's not as many. There's a lot of birds that are not around anymore, or just like that could be thriving that are not because of the cats that were brought to take care of the rats.
Wow.
So. Whatever. Anyway, okay, but we're going to get into it.
About the mongoose. There is mongoose, and there is no snakes. Was it?
Yeah. There were no snakes. At least not on Maui, but
yeah. When we went to what is it? Where did we go? Why can't I remember? One of the other islands.
Waikiki. The other island. Didn't you go to the main island?
No. I think it was Waikiki. I think. I don't know. My brain. Anyways. Yes, they were telling us though is like there's no snakes on that island either because of the mongoose. So it is.
Yeah, the mongoose are pretty. They're pretty. Like grumpy. Let's just say.
I was gonna say they're cute. They look cute.
Yeah, they fight. They fight other animals for sure. We got a message, or we got a comment from Binks. She said, "Oh yeah, okay. Let's see. She sent me a picture. She has a wolfie too. She has a dog that looks kind of like a dire wolf. I don't know if you can see.
Let me see. Wait. Let me stop sharing the screen. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so she said she's got a modern one.
She cloned her own direwolf.
She's got one. The other thing I wanted to say was that I found it funny. Now forget the ethical debate, but she also did say she says she's had a wolf before. But also she said the lightning bug experiment gone wrong in Florida. So that's another thing too. We touched on like the insects. Like I know also in Hawaii they put out like these genetically modified mosquitoes to supposedly help somehow manage the mosquitoes that are there already and somehow like replace them. But like I think the GMO ones are just as bad, or like I don't know if it's really working.
Crazy. GMO mosquitoes.
Literally, if you watch Black Mirror, which is another show going.
There's a new season coming out of Black Mirror. By the way,
there will be another season of Bridgerton coming out as well. By the way, and I believe
we have a new season of There's Layers to This. By the way.
you know. And I believe I saw that there's a new season coming of House of Dragon, which is like really exciting because I really like that show. If anyone out there watches House of Dragon, let me know. We can geek over it. Anyway, okay, hold on. So I know we're trying to move on from like the TV section and we just kind of like rolled back into it, and I'm going to continue to do that. So I just want to say, let me know when you start the new Bridgerton. Yeah, I just actually rewatched the last season of Bridgerton like very recently, and I was kind of going through like Jane Austen movies, just old school like classic romance type stuff, for fun. But anyway, okay, here's what I wanted to mention that I thought was really interesting about the dire wolf, okay, and what they named it. So also I think that it's pronounced Remus, and let me tell you why.
Oh, okay.
Because I've heard the name Remus before. I'm like, where have I heard the name Remus before? That sounds, I know, Remus. Can I screen share?
Yeah.
Just real quick. This won't take long, but so I was like, I'm pretty sure Remus. Yeah, Remus Lupin. Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter!
A beloved Harry Potter character. I knew it. I'm like,
it sounds a little differently, no? Or wait,
No.
the other dog. Yeah, because they both start with an R. So I think, the other dire wolf has Remus.
Wait, is the other dire wolf's name Romulus by chance?
Can you Google dire wolf name? I don't know, something like.
Yeah, let me.
I need to know now. Like, I need to know what their names are. I know the female that's been born. They haven't shown yet. Her name is Khaleesi.
No, extinct. Hang on. It pulled up the names of like the Game of Thrones ones.
Romulus and Remus.
Okay, so it is Romulus. Okay, that's what I thought it was. And you know why?
Yeah, one is Remus. Yes.
And okay, I knew as soon as you said Remus, and even if it was just Remus that they named that, and they didn't name the other one Romulus, it would still, I think, mean this.
And he's a wolf.
Okay.
He turns into a wolf.
Okay, but there's another layer. Okay, so there's the Harry Potter layer, but then there's this in Roman like mythology. Remus and Romulus are two twin brothers that are wolves that are actually the founders of Rome. These are two boys that get like abandoned and then they get raised by a she-wolf. And those two brothers like founded Rome. And that's why there were two councils and two people that would always like rule Rome together until that one Caesar decided he was just going to do it on his own. But the founding people of Rome were Remus and Romulus. So it's really interesting that like the dire wolves are named that because that's like the two first ones. And so there's that layer and then there's the Harry Potter layer.
Wow. If they have another female, I'm going to say maybe call it Shakira because Shakira did a song, She-Wolf, and a whole music video that I love. She-Wolf. So just saying. Wow.
I completely agree.
The layers to this. The layers. Wow.
Yes. You see here the image of the she-wolf suckling the twins has become a powerful symbol of Rome and its founding.
Wow. Wow, they really thought about like what name should we like, not like, hey Rocky, like, hey Bud, like
it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense, especially if there's two of them. Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi. Bro, they did really freaking good with the naming. I gotta give it up to the scientists. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to share. Moving right along, and to finish off the episode, unless Val has something else to share, is my last thing, and this is a bit of Web3 news for anyone who's in Web3 who wants to hear about an upcoming event, as well as it's not just an event, but it's also an opportunity for artists. So, House of Nouns is NYC edition is coming to New York, May 1st to the 2nd. And you can sign up to attend, but you can also sign up to be part of it. So this is an event coming to you in part thanks to Nouns as a proposal. It was passed through as a proposal. They're going to have creative workshops. You're going to make your own merch and play Smash Bros. And they're doing an artist in residence thing. So if you want to become a resident and be part of it, you can just apply right here on their website. I'll share this tab instead. And their thing is called Fly Me to New York City. And the theme is only in New York. So you can remix your art, your old art, into something New York City related. And you can include the noggles from the nouns and some sort of New York City icon. And then for devs, you can also submit something. It says you can remix an existing open source library into a small, fun application that fits the theme, and think of what a mint could look like. And then they're going to select 3 individuals to join them at the House of Nouns in New York to basically make these ideas happen. And all the work that's created is going to be released with a CCO license for anyone to be able to use. And yeah, you have until April 9th to submit any idea you have. They're going to announce winners. It says April 10th. And then the winner will create at House of Nouns on May 1st and 2nd. Yep. So that's pretty much it. The application is pretty short. They just want to know who you are, what your idea is, submit some assets if you have any. And yeah, you could get flown out to New York to be part of House of Nouns, which we got a chance to, experience a Nouns Town event, which was put on by the same person, Ben Latsko, who was putting on House of Nouns. So we know he can put on a pretty cool event and activation. And I have no doubt this is going to be pretty cool. It's happening during FarCon, which is the Warpcast yearly thing. And yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
Wow, dang. I want to go. I mean, it's right around the corner. So reality, I don't know. There's pretty low chances I might make it. But, if anyone wants to sponsor, there's layers to this. We have so many opportunities for sponsorship and promotion, and we have a lot we can do, videography, photography, interviews,
boom,
events,
boom, bap.
performances. Yep. Just saying. So cool. Did you submit yours already?
I did submit some ideas. Okay. So fingers crossed. And yeah, but if anybody thinks they have any ideas that they could bring forth, please do. You have until tomorrow, actually.
Oh, get on it.
Throw your hat in the ring.
All right. I love that. Thanks for sharing. Speaking of events, NFT NLA is next week. It's looking more and more like I may go. I might have gone to Mexico, but I'm waiting for my passport to arrive in the mail, and it still hasn't. I thought it would have already by now. So yeah, that might delay some travel plans here for going to Mexico. But in lieu of that, I would definitely make the drive up to go to NFT LA. I saw a post from Sailor Gary. It looks like he's going to be sponsoring some events with his Spirit Punks of Vodka, which we love him. He has sponsored our event out in Nashville when we had Satoshi Social. He was one of our sponsors. So yeah, love Sailor Gary, love Spirit Punks. Yeah, if you're going to be out at NFT LA, let me know. Love to link up. And which parties are you going to? Because yeah, I don't think it's going to be like an official conference. I think they have like different panels, like there might be some speakers at different venues, but seems like it's all going to be like little side events, which is cool. So keep a lookout. NFT LA next week, we may be there. Following that, we are going to have Bitcoin Pizza Day is coming up Thursday, May 22nd. We will be hosting our annual San Diego Pizza Party, sponsored by Pizza DAO and Stand With Crypto. We also got a soft yes from ICP also to be sponsoring. And we may see some bigger companies like Toyota be a sponsor here in San Diego. So we got some good
wow.
stuff cooking over here. But if you're in
Man.
town, definitely come join us. We've got a good community where we have the Bitcoin people, we've got Cardano people, we've got NFT people. We all come together. Despite we're on different chains and all that, we still come together to celebrate Bitcoin Pizza Day. And so that's the vibes, is like, just come, have some pizza. And it's a great way for newbies too, who like don't know much about crypto. Like, why not come to an event that has free pizza and learn about crypto? So yeah, if you're in a different city or even different country, go check out the Twitter at Pizza DAO. They are sponsoring $625 to have a pizza party in your local city. So there may be someone already who is doing that. And if you're looking for opportunities to contribute, you can tag on to them and become a co-host, volunteer, or sponsor. But if there is no one in your city, all you need is just yourself and one other person at least to have pizza parties. So they're sponsoring $625. Go check them out. So that's coming up on Thursday, May 22nd. And then after that is Bitcoin Las Vegas. So we may be working on something here. There's layers to this to be there. There may be a performance possibly as well. So keep a lookout. And then yeah, NFT NYC is going to be in June. I've already seen some people talk about it. Of course, it sounds like they're going to have over 1,000 speakers again. Hopefully they can reel that in just a little bit. That's what I've been asking for many years. But hey, we it's still an opportunity for all of us to gather together, and it's really nice. I know Creatress off camera, we were talking about like, oh, are people still gonna go despite like, our markets are down right now? But I think so. I think when times get tough, people like to come together. So I still think people will come out to NFT NYC and all these other conferences to get together. And I think that's where a lot of the excitement and momentum starts picking up again when everybody gets together. You can kind of see that reflected in the market sometimes. So yeah, so there's layers to this. May have a presence at these upcoming events, and it sounds like possibly FarCon for Creatress. So fingers crossed. And I think you were also talking about Mexico. Is it ETH Mexico? Is an event happening?
Yeah, I believe that's in September, but there's also like some sort of Cinco de Mayo thing happening in Mexico.
Ooh.
So if I don't go to FarCon, then I will probably go to the ETH Cinco de Mayo event, which is in Mexico City, if I'm correct.
Okay, shout out to the Nouns Amigos. I know they're probably going to be fun.
They're in Mexico City. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Very exciting. Lots of things cooking. We have tons of ideas and lots of really cool things we can activate, but we do need sponsors. So get in touch. You could be part of all the things that we're part of. Let's see. What you reminded me of something, but I can't think of it now. Either way, possibly Vegas, possibly Mexico. Oh yeah, if I'm like, man, this party, I'm already getting FOMO about the Bitcoin party here. I'm like, I might have to come back because Tyler was literally asking me about that the other day on the call. Like, are you going to be in San Diego during and I was like, I don't know. I'm not supposed to be, so I don't know. But,
okay.
My plan is to go to Mexico in about 1 week. So for anyone who's in San Diego, if you want to catch me before I go, let me know. And then for anyone who wants me to come out of my nest in Mexico, just book me for a performance. I will gladly hop on a plane and come perform at your event, wherever it is, because I'll be in Mexico City, which is one of the biggest cities in the world with an international airport. So I'll be around, guys. The more you want to, the more you reach out, and the more events, the more often I'll see everybody. So yeah, I'm gearing up for a good week next week. And I'm excited about just the rest of the season. We're going into like busy season now. Winter is over for the most
Yeah.
part.
Winter is over. We're now officially in spring, and I could tell here things are warming up, starting to even get some summer vibes here. So,
Yeah, spring and summer are very close together for me. So I'm like, this. Some days feel like feel like early spring when it's cold, but like the sun is out. It looks like summer in San Diego. So
yes, it does.
happy about that.
And speaking of which, now's a good time to, go outside, touch some grass, get some fresh air, especially with markets kind of down, a lot of going on, around our world and, some things, and it's important to get outside of our Web3 bubble and go touch some grass, or even if you have the opportunity to meet up with Web3 friends IRL, whether it's a conference or not, go grab some coffee or tea and hang out. I think it's really important to find that balance and not get so sucked into seeing everything red, everything's down. It could be a lot mentally. So take care of your mental health, your physical health, your overall well-being, is important. And there's the outdoors. The outdoors are our playground too. So go enjoy it while you can.
Yes. Go outside, touch some grass, pet a toad, eat a taco.
Eat lasagna.
Go
ride a skateboard.
Yes, all the good stuff. And before we go, I know we're way over. I do want to note that before we went live, Val and I agreed to make this a 1 hour show, to not try to make it a 2 hour show. We're just 15 minutes shy of 2 hours. But we just
at this point, I'm like, maybe we should just make it a 2 hour show. That's a lot of chunk of time in my day to dedicate. But the thing is that the time passes by so fast because our show is freaking fun. Like, it's so fun, and we can go on and on down all these riffs that I think are interesting, and I think it's fun for people to watch. I mean, we had 136 people at least tune in. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit more because it doesn't show me the numbers for Abstract, but I see Keegan tuned in. Keegan tuned in on Abstract. I see Hamster Gaming tuned in. Thank you guys so much. And not everybody comments on my Abstract, so I appreciate
I do want to. Yeah, and I want to say shout out to Banks for coming to the show and being so active. Appreciate you. She said it's still snowing up there in upstate New York, and I am so sorry about that. But shout out to Banks, and she's working on some cool stuff for New York as well. So look out for that. She's also looking for sponsors, so get in touch. The other thing I wanted to mention before we go is Keegan, and she's got alpacas, which I'm jealous. But
you did
Keegan
tell me
came and said, what?
I was like, you did share that with me. You're like, she has some cool alpacas. I'm like, what?
So jealous. And so since Keegan came and said hi, I think it's only right that we let you guys know that he has a show actually tonight in a couple hours on X. So go check that out. Teaching Tuesdays. And he talks about a lot of similar things that we talk about. Web3 happenings, Web3 news, things that are going on. He doesn't have this cool live stream element like we do. Like, I mean, he might have a live stream, but it's not as...
He does go live sometimes on Abstract. Sometimes. I don't know if he will on today's show. I know it's hard when he has a guest to do live, but when it's just him, I think he might go live today on X and Abstract. So he's exploring it. I know he's been inspired by us. I know that. So,
yes.
But
not everybody has a co-producer like we do. So it is a little bit more difficult when you're doing it.
It is.
Just make sure you guys tune in wherever he ends up tonight, whether it's on X or on live stream. Go watch it. It's pretty cool. And he has supported our show in many different ways. So
yes, he is an official sponsor. Without him, we wouldn't have our production studio, our actual studio. So thank you. Shout out to 10KTF, Ground Game Strong, or 10KTF Teaching Tuesdays.
Ground Game Strong.
Thank you so much to Keegan being an official sponsor of our show. All the seasons that we did our live stream, pretty much. Yeah. All the live streams. So
Heck yeah.
if you want to be an official sponsor of our show, reach out. Let's see. Binks, what did Binks say here? We have Toxic Honesty okay, so she has Toxic Honesty tomorrow night. God Cloud and myself. Cool. You guys should come jump on. We have to kick it off again now. We're back and settled in. Ooh, okay. All
We'll
right.
definitely tune in. Send it. So we can
Tomorrow's
watch.
Wednesday. Okay. Yeah. Send us the link. DM us. Keegan's giving us a heart and a golden star. All right, we earned our gold star for today.
Love
Love
my
it.
gold star.
And
Very
she said
nice.
it's almost
Okay.
every Wednesday. Okay, good to
For
know.
Wednesdays, you got Toxic Honesty. You can also tune in too.
Damn, toxic. We got a lot of honesty. Share here on that side, I guess. So toxic honesty. But
Well,
yeah, I guess that's it for our show today. What do you think? We wrap it up?
Yeah, I don't have anything else. I mean, I'm sure we could find some things to talk about, but I think we did pretty good. I think that's good for today. Yeah, just tune in next week for season 2. And by season 2, I mean episode 2 of season 7.
Of season 7, lucky number 7. Yes.
I'm excited. I have a lot of little things like merch things that I actually think I need to start to get rid of. So I'm either going to send them your way or something. But here, actually, I had these hats that I was gonna like.
Aww.
So I got
some NFT, I think, inside, right?
This one, I think it does. Yeah, this one has was like tied to an NFT that I actually had sent to me.
Yes, I have one of those, and because I own the NFT, they planted a tree for me out in Africa. One of the guys.
Yes, Jimmy. So yes,
Jimmy,
oh my god,
Jimmy.
yes. Jimmy has been doing like this tree planting initiative for a while, and he had to try like 3 different times. But yeah, he broke the world record after 3 times of trying, and Public Nouns was one of the people that helped him with like the resources he needed to make that world record happen. So shout out to Public Nouns. Shout out to Nouns Town, which is the event that I was referencing that we went to by Ben Latsko, who is organizing Nouns House at NYC FarCon. This is the hat that we got there. And so I've got a bunch of merch, as you can tell from different events. This is another hat that I got with Val at the Doodles event that we went to in LA. So I'm kind of thinking about giving away some of these hats for like a prize or like a giveaway.
Do it.
Yeah. Just what am I gonna do with all these hats?
I'm over here shaking my head when you're like, oh yeah, you have 3 hats, bro. I have a whole gigantic cardboard box filled with giveaways, prizes that are meant for giveaways. But I've been a little hesitant because I'm waiting for the markets to come back a little bit because I gotta pay for shipping. Shipping and can get expensive. So yeah. But if you want to go ahead and do some giveaways, by any means.
Okay, that's fair. Well, stay tuned. And if anyone wants to sponsor a giveaway, let us know. Yeah. We're open to that too.
We've had a few people sponsor some giveaways on our show with some NFTs and stuff. Yeah, so that's for sure. And we've also given away Bitcoin on our show when ICP sponsored us.
That's right. We did
give away $500 worth of Bitcoin away.
We did do that. Long live Bitcoin, long live giveaways, long live all our sponsors and all our listeners and supporters. So yeah, with that, I'm signing off. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Valerie. This was fun.
Yes, thank you. Shout out to Meme Brains and the Public Board. Make sure you go check them out. They were our awesome guests today to kick off our new season 7. And we plan to have some more guests. If you want to be a guest on our show and talk about a project you're working on or initiative you have, please DM us, reach out to us. We're always looking for more guests. I believe I've got to get one of the founders of DSNR on here, which is a project, a cool, cute, like toad looking project on Ape Chain. And he also skateboards. And so he
Oh,
will
perfect.
be a guest on our show here this season coming soon. So stay tuned. And I know Add a Body too. We need to do like a dedicated show for him. He plays
Okay.
the flute. That would be cool. But yeah, if you guys want to see anybody on our show, also let us know about that too, who you want to see. So
Yeah, I agree. And I just saw a comment from Banks. She says they have a Third Planet Studio all access pass, NFT pass that we could give away. So sounds like we might be doing a giveaway here. With
all right,
Third
we're
Planet
gonna
Studio,
connect
so.
with you, Binks. We'll connect with you.
Yeah, stay
So
tuned, y'all.
stay tuned if you want an all access NFT pass to Third Planet Studio. They do some awesome events. And of course, they have some awesome artists and their whole collective there too. So they're doing some good stuff. And so it's cool. The Token Smart Discord, they're gonna be live on camera for their show on Wednesday. All right.
Got it.
So stay
Perfect.
tuned.
Nice.
All right, guys.
Well, there you have it.
Well, that's it. Thank you so much. This has been season 7, episode 1 of There's Layers to This. We talk everything from art, Web3, toads, skateboarding, lasagna, and we just work on bringing the vibes to you no matter where the markets are at, because we are here for the long term. And so we know you are here too. And so I hope you guys have a good time on our show. We'll see you again next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If we decide to change it, just follow us on our Twitters at vdizzle777, at Creatress Arts. And we usually talk about whether we're going to change the show time or not. But yeah, every Tuesday for right now. Every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, make sure you eat a taco, pet a toad, and touch some grass, get some sunshine. All right, guys. We'll see you. Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.